I just wanted to say I hope you're going to have an amazing, wonderful, grateful, amazing Thanksgiving. I just wanted to pop in and say hello and give you a couple of quick content ideas if you're kind of scrambling with last minute things that can build some quick engagement, give your peeps a little smile, maybe even a giggle, something fun, lighthearted, with them being like avalanche of Black Friday pressure on people, not from you, but just in general, right? Their inboxes are blowing up with Black Friday deals and things. A really great way leading up to Thanksgiving is to give them a little bit to smile about. So here are some really quick ideas, and I'll just run through them really quick so you guys can get back to taking some action. First things first, you can do some really great creative things that can apply and be tweaked, and techniques that can be applied to your unique niche, whatever it may be. So the first idea I'm going to list off are going to be just types of posts you can make. So you can make memes, you can do GIFs, you can do this or that games, you can do a crossword puzzle where you leave one thing blank and give them a prompt. You can ask them for you can give them some kind of like probing question. People love sharing things. There's a lot of ways to customize that. So I'll give you a few examples just to kind of get the ball rolling for you. And I'll pick a couple random niches just to get that context of like what I'm talking about, help your brain wrap around what I'm saying and give you some ideas. So the meme could be something like related to an experience they're having. And that kind of goes with all of the content that I teach across the board, but especially with the holidays. Think about what they're going to be feeling emotionally, physically, mentally, socially. They're going to be frazzled probably. So like if you're a crafter, you might be frazzling about crafting. If you are a dog trainer, you might be the person might be stressed about leaving their animal for the day or for the whole trip that they're going on. If you're a travel agent, they might be stressed about going on a airplane flight. They might be stressed about like when I was a Disney travel agent, something I loved helping people with were ideas if they're at Disney over the holiday, because unless you're at a really expensive hotel that has a kitchen, and you're going to just be holed up in your hotel room, right? Unless you're going to Disney, but most people aren't that day. But you can give out tips. I would give out tips about like navigating the crowd on Thanksgiving. I would give tips about like the best restaurants that provide like a Thanksgiving spread. I might give some ideas on like if you were a crafter, you could give ideas, things that they're going to be experiencing, like keeping their kids busy while they're cooking. So if you're like a kid's crafter or something, you can say, hey, here's a bunch of really quick, easy things, like giving a kid like shaving cream and like a spatula or something in their high chair to keep them busy while you're cooking. Or like one of my kids, they love like if you have like toilet paper rolls or anything that stands up, and then give them like a little ball. Or like my kids love like crunching up a piece of paper into a paper wad ball and then having like some toilet paper rolls or something, and then having them throw it and like play bowling. There's like a billion things you can do like that can keep them busy. If you're a food like recipe person, obviously that kind of, you would think it lends itself to obviously recipes, but you can get more creative than that. You can give them special things to like pre-make stuff. You can give them tips about like, or asking them questions like, what's the nastiest thing you've ever encountered on Thanksgiving? What's something that you always burn? What's the craziest thing that happened to you, last year during Thanksgiving? What's your most powerful memory from your childhood? What's an amazing tradition that you can't live without? You could share your traditions, because, you guys know I believe like sharing stories is what opens up the connection to your people, makes it interesting naturally, and builds that trust and foundation of a friendship, which is key to what we do here as business owners that are small business owners. For example, like something we love doing, and I just did it this a couple days ago, where we take the brown paper and we trace it on our hands, my kids, and then we make it into a little turkey. And then I take like construction paper and then just cut out basic like feather oval shapes and then have them write what they're thankful for on it. And then we glue it to the back like feathers. And so we've been doing that, right? So this year I have enough that I want to start putting it on a canvas. So like I've got, where is it? Somewhere around here. So, for example, I'm going to take a bigger version of this canvas and I'm going to paper mache them or Mod Podge and glue them onto it, so that it ends up being like from their little baby hands and growing up until now. And so I think that's going to be really great, and that's going to be a tradition we continue until we can't. So sharing something like that would be really handy. If you're a gardener, you can do something like, what's your favorite, most satisfying fruit or vegetable to harvest this time of year? What is your favorite dish you can't live without? What's the grossest thing you've ever had when you go to someone else's Thanksgiving, or something like that. Like someone I know puts like these really big onion slices in their stuffing, which is not, to each is their own, but for me, I was like, give me a stovetop any day. That's just me. And so some other things would be games like a this or that, right? Was it pecan pie versus pumpkin pie? Hands-on crafts versus TV time, which that one might be a little prickly for some people, but you get the gist, right? You could say, what's your favorite thing to keep your kids busy during cooking, right? And that's a really great one because people love to share. It's something if that's your audience, it's something that they all struggle with, and it would be really helpful to collect tips from everybody into one stream, and it preps people and they can take that information and kind of arm themselves with some new ideas to handle the next day. If you are, let's say, an exercise person, or you're helping people with like chiropractic kind of stuff or anything like that, another physical experience they're going to deal with is standing all day if they're cooking, right? So you could give them stretches. You could do little reel videos of like, you put your hands on the oven and stretch like this, and do these kinds of stretches before, take breaks here and do the stretches here, and give them easy little things that they can do. You also know some physical things would be people are driving, they're flying, they're traveling. You can give them little tips of things like tipping your toes like this when you're in the car, or things like that, right? Flexing your hands like this because your arms are getting tired of sitting on the plane. Different things like that, right? Like someone I saw was really great. It was a pre-flight stretch where they were standing just kind of off to the side before they started queuing up to get on the plane, and they were showing all these different little stretches that they do to prep for a long flight. So there's like a billion things you could do, if you're a family vlogger or a kid blogger. You could do things or a travel vlogger. You could do things to keep your kids busy on the road trip. If you're like specific to babies, things that keep them happy in car rides, tips to stop the "are we there yet?" If you're more of like the mental aspect, you might be talking to people about dealing with difficult in-laws, or that one uncle that always puts you down about your business. You could, if you're like a smoothie kind of juicer person, you can say, here's an amazing recipe I love doing every Thanksgiving that keeps me powered through the day, because a lot of people graze all day long, right? Or if you're like a health person, you might give them tips on how to not graze all day long, right? Or say like, this is what I love this recipe. It keeps me energized throughout all of my cooking. You can talk to them if you're more like on the more serious side, like grief or, loss or things like that, or substance abuse people, things that help with those kinds of things. You can talk to them about tips for that, right? Or like, what's your favorite go-to thing that helps you work through this hard day? Or, what's your favorite memory about this or that, all those kinds of things. On the lighter side of the niches, you can do things like the crossword puzzle would be fun, like your favorite family tradition, and then have that be like, or like name your favorite Thanksgiving food, and then you leave one crossword thing open. I love a good hangman. So that would be fun. That's actually, I just thought of it right now. That's one I've never done, but I'm going to put that on my list, I think, for Christmas. That would be fun. Where you just put the little dots and then you say, what's this, and have it be something related to the holidays or an experience that they're going to have, whether that's socially, mentally, physically, emotionally, right? So those are just some ideas. Some memes would be really funny. Like, that's stressful for most people. So if you're a crafter, you might have a GIF or a meme or something where it's like they're trying to cut and paper's flying everywhere because they're trying to get their stuff done last minute. Or, when it comes to Christmas, this will be one that's useful for Christmas as it gets closer, like them like frazzled and having like bows in their hair and stuff, like trying to get it done. Or a knitter where they're like, and they're like covered in yarn and they're like losing it because they like waited to the last minute to start their project or whatever. So there's just a lot of things like that. You're helping someone with ADHD and it's a GIF or a meme where it's like the oven's on fire. The pot's got like flames coming out of it and they're like just on their phone or something, like they're straight distracted and they've burnt half the food. And it's like, yeah, that's about right. You're going to forget in the middle of cooking everything, or you're going to have like 50 pots on the stove and everything's like half cooked. About right. So you can see there's just so many amazing ideas that you can do that can make it really, really fun and exciting, and you can approach it in so many different unique ways. You could do that with Black Friday too, but I just thought I would share a couple last minute ideas for you. A side note for Black Friday, I wanted to give you a couple of things. So I'm going to put the link below. I'm just doing a really simple thing. One, I'm giving you some free things, of course, but I will throw out the offer because I had a couple people actually asking me, because I did this offer last year and they loved it. And so I actually had a couple people reach out to me and be like, hey, are you going to do that again? So I will send it out in this email. It's kind of like a pre-Black Friday because it's for Black Friday. And since we're one day away, it's kind of helpful. It's just a little list of last minute Black Friday ideas. So some of you have a lot of time during the day and some of you have no time. So it's a list and it's actually divided up. Excuse me. And it's really simple. It's only $9. It's a It's a Notion page. It was a PDF, but I'm in the middle. I just added like a whole bunch of new stuff this year. So I'm just keeping it simple. It's just going to be an awesome Notion page document that's got all kinds. It's probably 40 ideas, and I've got them actually organized based on your available time frame, because some people have 8 hours, right? That I don't know who, it's amazing, or even if you have an hour, and depends on your skill level, how quickly you could whip up a PDF or something. But it's just different ideas, whether it's pre-selling some stuff, like, here's a few ideas just off of that list. I don't have it pulled up, but it's just in here. Like having a coaching session, right, that you can schedule out in advance. You can pre-sell just a quick idea you've whipped up. Like, let's say you want to do a little 6-week workshop or something. You can pre-sell a little 30-minute workshop training. You can give something away for free and just do that trust building. Everything around any launch, but specifically Black Friday, I love to point out that you need really think about your goal, because your goal doesn't have to be immediate finance benefit. It's obviously the most popular kind, but it's also a great opportunity to do other things. If your goal might be right now to just build awareness that you have an offer, I did that last year and I really loved it, was where I just gave you guys something awesome for free. I didn't have you buy, I didn't offer anything, and I let you know about the mastermind, right? I use that as an opportunity to relieve the stress of my people so that you're not getting more Black Friday stuff also from me, like, which there's nothing wrong with that. Because again, every sale you make, you're helping that person and they're helping you help others, because if you're not making money, you're going to burn out and you're going to give up, and then you're not going to be able to help anyone. And that does no one any benefit. So don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with having any kind of sales or offerings. But what I did was I decided that that was going to be my goal, was exposure, more eyes. I wanted to, trust build. I wanted to nurture them, and I wanted to build that awareness of an offer that I had. And then I had planned a launch after. So like 2 weeks after Black Friday was going to be the launch. And a lot of people don't sell anything during that time because they're like, oh, Christmas is coming up and people just spend all their money on Black Friday. But the truth is, A, they don't. B, if they really want something, they'll figure it out. And C, you can offer things if it helps you feel better, like better payment plan. So instead of being a 3-month payment plan, perhaps you offer a 6-month payment plan. And so when it comes to Black Friday last minute sales, you can simply do a video like this. Do a 5-minute video, 3-minute video, 1-minute video, no sales page needed. You guys will see that I have a little video for this Notion page, and that's it. There's no sales page, really, air quotes, right? It's just a video and a button and a checkout. Especially for something that's $9, like either it's going to help you or it's not. I don't have to do any pushing sales. You guys know I don't do that. I'm just going to explain to you what you get, and then you make the decision, because you're an adult and I respect you enough to not tell you what you need. My only job is to let you know it's out there and explain to you what it does. And then you know, the ball's in your court and you decide if it's something that you think will help you or not. And that's all of our jobs as content marketers, as someone who's going out and helping someone else and offering a service or product. That is all our job is to let people know it's there and then offer it to them by making it clear as to what it is and how it works and how it helps, and that's it. Then they make the decision, right? We're no ShamWow people here. So that's what I like to remind people, is like, it can even just be a link. You can send out a simple email that says, hey, I made this cool thing. It's this much money. Here's a link if you want in. If you want to make a graphic for it, you can, but you don't have to. I've made like $5,000 in sales just from a link. I just mentioned to people like, hey, so I offered this one thing inside the mastermind, and I was like, hey, and this was a time where it was only like 5 people in there. And I was just like, hey, I have this thing. Like I did this, it was a Creative Spark template. And I was like, hey, this is what I use to keep all of my ideas, because they're ever flowing thanks to my ADHD, and they randomly show up in the most inconvenient times. And so I use this Notion template, and I said, here, if you like it, it's $27. Here you go. And they snatched it up, and I didn't have a sales page or anything. I just put in there, hey, this is what it is. This is how I use it. This is why I love it. This is why I made it. And I think it might interest you. It might be helpful. I don't know. Here's the link to buy it. And I mean, they snatched it up. That's crazy, right? Because it went so well in the mastermind that I sent it out to the entire list. And that's how I made the $5,000. It's crazy. And that's not going to be everyone's. Obviously, you're not going to all have that warm audience, but you could have 100 people. And if 5 people buy your $97 thing, like that's $500 you didn't have before, and you didn't have to make anything, because it's probably, you can use something you have lying around. You can sell something that you had paid. You can offer them like something from inside a paid offer, and then let them know just at the bottom or somewhere, like, hey, this is actually, like, I'm helping you. I'm giving you this thing for way cheaper, and it's out of this other thing. And it does 2 things. It gives them the sense of value, because it is valuable. It gives them like, oh, wow, I'm getting actually kind of like a sneak peek for way cheaper, and still getting help. And then it's also mentioning like, hey, I also have this bigger thing if you want more help. So it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. You're offering them something, and you're also mentioning like, hey, I also have this thing. And then you're also nurturing them by helping them for a much a lower entry opportunity. And when I say pulling something out of something paid, for example, I'm putting out a launch like a mompreneur course this next year, excuse me, in Q1. And if you're watching this later, because you guys know I love to repurpose, if it hasn't been retired, you'll find it on my everything page somewhere, on creativemarketingmom.com/everything. But what I'm going to do is I have this, it's going to help you launch, right? And it's going to make it a sustainable thing and keep you from burnout and all that jazz. But, excuse me, I'm pulling out like either a workbook or maybe like the first lesson or something I'm going to pull out and be like, here, you can have this for this much, right? I think I'm starting at $297 and then it'll incrementally go up throughout the rest of the year till $997. So if you want into that, just know I'm going to pre-sell it in January. But that gives them an opportunity to get a little sneak peek, to get some of that help first. And I'm also going to offer like some of the worksheets for free. And that way I'm also like helping them for free and for less in cost and stuff like that. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can pre-sell something you don't have. You can do Voxer days, which are my favorite, and they're really easy. You can say, for $47, you can get 30 minutes of a Voxer thing where you just send me a voice memo of all these questions you have or whatever it is you want help with, and then I will send you a response. You can sell things like an audit, where you can do some kind of audit, whether it's a menu planner. You can say, hey, I can you can tell me your allergies and your choices. I have a form, a little quick Airtable form where they can go in and select, what their preferences are. And then you can make them a menu really quick for $47, right? You could give them a specific stretching plan if they have a certain goal. You can give them a potty training schedule if they tell you what they can send you a message, a DM or something that says, hey, I work this much. This is what I need. This is how old my puppy is. This is that. And then you make them a thing. If you're a travel agent, you can say, hey, if you just send me your things for $27, I'll send you a quick itinerary based on what you need. You can do all of these different things, right? If you're a knitter, you can say, for $5, I will share, my most requested pattern, right? Or something. So there's like 1,000 things you could do, and you want to base it on what your goals are. Is it to get more eyes right now, right? Is you trying to build engagement? So instead of trying to sell something right now, you may offer them something for free. You might give them a giggle, right? You might do like one of those funny memes we talked about. So instead of sending them something, you can just say, hey, there's this hilarious meme and I thought you could use a chuckle. And also, if you wanted, you could add like a little freebie of something you've got lying around, a PDF or something. In this email, I am sending you a link to a free training that's going to train you. It's like making a PDF in 5 minutes. And then I'm also going to give you the template for the PDF so that you can sell it. If you don't have anything to sell, there you go. You can pick something small. And make sure it's task oriented. Remember, one of my biggest techniques for freebies is the cost needs to match the effort, right? So if it's something really easy and all they have to do is open it and use it, then that's going to be, probably $47 and under. For example, like a Notion template or a PDF planner or something like that. It's something they want, something they can have, not something they have to do for that lower cost. If it requires more effort, which means more energy, more time, like a course, then that price goes up. So something to think about when you're doing something free. I like to call it DIY plan. You're usually helping them plan something. So if you were a gardener, it might be a little guide to planning your plants or your schedule or the layout of your garden, or it could be, a planner template. For knitting, you might offer them like a Christmas gift planner. You could do a budget tracker for Christmas presents. You could do like a travel tip checklist. You could, it just depends on what you do, right? It could be a recipe menu template for them to fill out their holiday menu. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the things that you could offer them, paid or free. So it's just something to think about. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have an amazing Thanksgiving.